From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, you are listening to the Walkertown Report.
Hello, I'm Dwayne Walker, and welcome to this special edition of the Walkertown Report. Now, if you follow my channel, Walkertown Media Works, at YouTube, you may notice I have this short movie that I'm putting out called An American Backslider in the Philippines. And this I hope to extend into a bigger movie that will be shot in the Philippines next year. But one of the groups that I'm in contact with that I hope to spend some time videotaping is HAPI, the Humanist Alliance Philippines International. And one of the people that I interview in there is Michael Sherman, who is a city planner from Florida. And in the 15-minute version, there are bits and pieces of his interview that come out. But on this episode, I'm going to play the entirety, the bulk of the interview. Only edited slightly to make up for long spaces of silence as I ponder my next question. So as we go into this interview, keep in mind, if you want to watch more interviews like this, then please, by all means, hit like and subscribe. And of course, in the video of this interview, you'll notice we do talk a lot about HAPI, the Humanist Association Philippines International, and the work that they do. And if you'd like to contribute to them, their webpage is hapihumanist.org. That's HAPI, humanist.org, is in the description. And when you link in there, you can go to where it says get involved, and you can give a contribution to them and help them in their work. But as we begin our program, I started out by asking Michael, how long did you stay when you go to the Philippines? And that's how we start our interview.
How long were you there in the Philippines?
About a month.
A month?
Yeah.
That's about how long my stays are, about a month. Yeah.
It was all of February. So it started off kind of crazy. I was leaving the 2nd, supposed to get there the 4th, but I didn't get there till the 6th.
Uh-huh.
Because I spent like almost 50 hours in America trying to get out of the country with layovers and sleeping in airports. And so I got there on the 6th. I should have got there on the 4th.
Oh, wow. That means you spent like 2 hours waiting around in airports and things like that, or 2 days maybe?
2 days, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
so
my God.
It was an experience. Fortunately, and maybe it comes with age, I just laughed about it the whole time, because there's nothing else I could do about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that Tom Hanks movie where he spends like months and months living in the airport,
Yeah, let me let the cat in. Hang on a second.
Okay. How many times have you been in the Philippines?
I've been 3 times.
Uh-huh. Oh, what first put the Philippines on your radar as a place to go to visit?
So in 2010, I started a job in Dade City, Florida. I was working for a civil engineering firm in Tallahassee. And I was living with a friend of mine, and he had a little garage apartment. And I realized at that time with Yahoo Chat was big, I could talk to people all over the world. And I realized that, wow, the Filipino people can speak English. So, and I'd always, as a city planner, my career, I've always wanted to do some work in the in Southeast Asia somewhere. And after I started talking to Filipinos, I joined a LinkedIn group of Filipinos. And then after Typhoon Haiyan came through, they started a not-for-profit of planners helping smaller communities that were overlooked by the big NGOs, USAID, because they weren't big enough. So I helped with doing some disaster mapping and sending best practices on how to respond to hurricanes and tropical events. How do we do it in Florida? And I kind of got involved with those guys, and I liked it, Dwayne, but I like more bottoms up, grassroots, get your hands dirty. One of the things I liked as a city planner was doing neighborhood planning. working with communities, helping them develop how they want their community to be or their neighborhood to be. That was my favorite stuff. And so I've kind of, worked now. I saw HAPI worked at the grassroots, and that's what really caught my attention.
Oh, well, now you mentioned HAPI. When did you first become aware of HAPI?
2017, I believe it was.
Okay. And what, tell me about well, first of all, tell me a little bit about HAPI. What does that stand for? That's Humanist Alliance for the Philippine Islands?
Philippines International.
Uh-huh.
Humanist Alliance Philippines, International.
Okay. How long has it been around?
It's been around 10 years. So 2015, I believe, early 2016 is when it incorporated.
Okay. How did you find out about it?
Through a link, a Facebook connection. And I don't know how I met this guy, but he's from Canada and he's a Filipino. And somehow he posted on HAPI and I saw it and I started looking at it and realized, yeah, this is the group I want to try and do some volunteer work with.
Oh, and what kind of work does HAPI do?
So it's sort of twofold. I mean, the mission is to talk about humanism and, how a person can become a good person without a need for religion or any of the mythology that comes with religion. And it's also about helping humanity. And in all honesty, the helping humanity part is what's really caught my attention, especially as I age. It's like helping humanity, putting my mark on this world for making it better is something that's very attractive to me.
The secular aspect of HAPI, had you been involved in any humanist groups in the United States, or was that the first humanist group you were ever affiliated with?
That was the first humanist group I've ever been affiliated with. So yeah, I consider myself kind of a secular agnostic humanist.
Okay.
I don't know. So.
Oh, no, go ahead. What were you about to say?
I don't know if there's a God or not. And at this point, I can say I don't believe there's a God that's created by humans, at least.
Oh, well, tell me about your experience working with HAPI. Was this last trip the first time that you were ever actually involved, or have you been involved with them on prior trips?
Yeah, on prior trips as well. So the first time in 2017, I got invited to talk at the HAPI conference. I called my presentation Incremental Humanism, where we can work at spreading humanism and helping humanity at small grassroots tasks or programs. So what we did, and I use the example of when I worked in Dade City, working with the Black communities, doing neighborhood planning, where we did a whole bunch of small steps through a neighborhood plan. We helped do park improvements. We helped get funding to move a wastewater treatment plant. We got road paving work done. We got a whole bunch of neighborhood cleanups done incrementally, and it became a much better community. So we worked with partners with Habitat for Humanity, and they built some incredibly beautiful homes out there. So little by little actions helped improve that community. Not one big thing, big project. And my presentation was sort of combining like incremental urbanism and incremental humanism together. And so I spoke about the small steps we could take in each to bring about a better place in this world. And that's when I met Marissa and a whole bunch of people on the board of director or board of trustees, the chairman, and the people who were dedicated to working with HAPI at the time.
What city was this?
Say what?
Well, what city was this where you were?
This was in Manila, but the conference itself was in Intramuros.
Okay.
And if you've never been there, it's a really cool area. You should go check it out. It's like the original walled city of Manila.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I've been in the area. I just probably wasn't aware of it. Next time I should probably explore it a little bit more.
Right. It's circa 1500s, the walls of the city. It's really, really cool. It kind of reminds me of Casa de San Marcos in St. Augustine. About the same type of construction, the same type or same time periods.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, there's a lot of similarity. I found a lot of similarity between Florida and certain parts of the Philippines there. The most obvious is because the Spanish had Florida for a while, and then they had the Philippines for a while. So we're seeing that Spanish influence. Um, when Because of the humanist aspect, did you ever run into any difficulties with, say, any of the locals regarding religion or anything like that?
only in America.
Only in America, so you never really had that problem in the Philippines.
No, because my focus is on when I'm there, I'd like to focus more on helping humanity. And that's why my big thing that I like to do is work on sponsoring the feeding of children from the slums and squatter communities. And I've done that a number of times now when I've been over there. I participated in one the first time, and the second time I paid for one. And then this time here we did two, three, four, five, if you count the times we hung out in the communities and just fed random kids as they walked by, handing out toys and lollipops and feeding them pancit and Filipino dumplings. I forget what they're called. And that was really just one of my best times. It's just really casual. It was me and Jamie. And we just hung out and fed kids as they walked by and communicated and talked to them. And, also what was really cool, Dwayne, is when I was there in 2018 working, and then I went back to the same community. Some of the kids that got fed and participated in the program then are now like 18, 19 years old, and they helped us do the feeding for the kids, the younger kids. So it's like a full circle, and these kids now are all about helping humanity as well. So that felt like a really small victory for us when I was there this time.
Well, did you have to do anything like get permission from the local authorities before you started handing out food, or you just
We
put
did
up a
not.
table and started doing it?
We just started doing it. Yeah. I got with the CFO is Mutia, and she helped me. We did one in Malolos. Mutia said we fed a couple hundred kids, and then we had some for food to go back to the families. And then we did it in Perak 7C in Alabang. And that's really where my heart is. I've worked there a number of times. And we were able to put on a pretty large feeding there and then go back 3 other times hanging out, feeding kids randomly, just they came by.
That's on one of your Facebook posts. It looked like you're addressing almost a classroom of kids, and you're talking about critical thinking and things like that. What was that all
Yes.
about?
So that was in Malolos, and the lady who did the presentation for that was Muta Venezuela. And Muta's our CFO, Chief Financial Officer. And these were kids who were members of HAPI Youth from Malolos. And so she put on a presentation, and we handed out like prizes and things for kids getting correct answers. I brought a bunch of Major League Baseball caps and girly soaps for the girls to hang out. So I had my pasalubong that I brought with me for a number of families, but also for kids there. I was able to hand out 3 baseball caps, Major League ball caps, and a bunch of girly soaps. So actually I didn't. Mutia handed those out.
No. When you're lecturing about critical thinking, what kind of subject matter did you do? I mean, like any particular stories or anything like that?
Well, it focused on science. We never really said anything about religion, but you could pick that up, looking for quantifiable things to base your beliefs on, something that's quantifiable, something that's tangent, not something that's more along this mythology. But that the religion part wasn't really pushed hard, and Muta was the one that did the presentation, not me. I just sat there and grinned and handed hats and stuff to her to hand out to kids.
Okay. Yeah. I remember my first trip there was something on the news and I didn't really understand it until I came back and saw a translated version in the United States where there was a young girl who got pregnant and she well, her family, she was young, like something like 12 or some really young age like that. And her family took her to a local witch doctor. Their words, took her to a witch doctor, and he said, "Oh, it's just a tumor." And it wasn't a tumor. She was actually pregnant.
I
And
remember this.
oh yeah, you remember that?
It was international news. Yeah.
Yeah. I have no idea what happened to her. I mean, the last I heard, now she was young when she said this, but she said that she wanted to go into medicine and go back and serve her community so this doesn't ever happen again to anyone else. And I don't know what her current status is because I haven't seen any follow-ups on the story. But have you ever run into any kind of situations similar or any viewpoints that were similar to that?
No, I've not spent a lot of, well, this time I actually spent time in the provinces, but
Uh-huh.
no, I've not been around people that are into the witch doctor or that type of superstition.
I've often wondered, like with the Philippines, like in the United States, and this might be just a commentary on the United States or Great Britain, but I noticed that, we have a number of, for a while, we had a number of young people, college age people going back to indigenous religious beliefs. Like in England, there was like a revival of Druidism. And then, of course, we had the United States, a renewed emphasis on Native American beliefs and all that. Is there anything like that happening at all in the Philippines regarding their indigenous people or indigenous roots?
I really don't know. There is a focus on traditional Filipino cultures and traditions, things like that. But so who knows? Maybe Catholicism and the INC, I think is what it is. They have their thumb down on the Philippines, I believe, as far as religion.
Yeah, when I was there last year, one of the issues that came up was allowing no-fault divorce. That was being put to a vote, and apparently it was very close. And of course, the church side won on that, so you still can't get divorced in the Philippines.
Two places in the world you cannot get divorced: Philippines and Vatican City.
What are some of the goals of HAPI for like the next couple of years? So what's some of the futures, or what are some of the future plans or hopes that the group might have?
I might have to get back with you on some of that.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, you personally, what I mean, when you see the Philippines, what do you think they need? What do they need over there?
So the one thing that strikes me, and I'm not sure how to address this, is there's got to be some way to reduce the pervasive poverty in the Philippines. There's the poverty line that they have established in the Philippines, but when I read it, it's like poverty. Like, if you're above, I think it was like 400 pesos a day, you're not considered poor. But that's crazy amount. It's just a little bit of money still. And there's such poverty in the Philippines and everything associated with poverty. There's got to be a way to increase salaries and make quality of life. I don't know if quality of life is the right word, but improve the basic necessities and services for the average Filipino. And so I think a real challenge for that country. Until the Second World War, Philippines was like the gem of the Orient, as far as a place of trade and equality of standard of living and things like that. And then after the Second World War, it's not that way anymore.
If the quality of life, though, were to improve in the Philippines, and even if salaries were raised, then that would mean that naturally some prices would go up. I mean, right now, it's known for like inexpensive health care and things like that. Do you think if the quality of life were to improve, that those prices would also go up as well?
They may go up, but one thing I did notice there, some of the basics and necessities are kind of close to prices that we were paying here. I mean, I saw 60 pesos per liter for gasoline. And so that gets over $2 a gallon, I think. So, I mean, some prices are already high. Will prices increase? Probably so. But prices are already increasing. Real estate prices are going up. The hotel prices I saw were significantly different than from the last time I was there, albeit it was a number of years ago, 6 years ago. I stayed at probably a 5-star hotel in Makati. Last time I was there for $68 a night. And when I stayed at Bonifacio Global City, it was $160 a night.
Mm, wow.
And while that's still, in America, that's pretty typical of a Hampton Inn or something like that. That seemed like a lot of money in the Philippines. Now, granted, the hotel was really nice. It was a Seda hotel. So when I was there, I spent time in Malolos, which is in Bulacan, and Cavite, Tres Martis, the 13 martyrs that were executed by Catholics, by the Spanish. I spent time in BGC, Bonifacio Global City, which is like, as a city planner, I love that because it's high-end, walkable. It's where the upper middle income and upper income Filipinos, a lot of them live there. When I was driving to the airport that morning to go to Davao City, I saw people coming in when they were driving Porsches and Ferraris and BMWs and Cadillacs and Mercedes Benz. It was very interesting seeing, people driving into the city. I spent about a week in Davao. I have friends there. I spent a few days in Bohol. That was really a touristy area. I have an expat buddy of mine who lives there. And then I came back to Metro Manila. I got picked up by my family in Cavite, and then that's when we started doing more work, hanging out in Alabang, feeding kids, going to a park and handing out toys to kids and lollipops and things. It was really, really a great experience.
Oh, it sounds like it. And so when you talk about, how you can be a good person without, having religion and all that, that's not really perceived as an attack on religion in the Philippines, is it?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the basis of morality is compassion and not necessarily a book of rules or something like that, And I think morality, if you go with, the basis of morality being compassion, it's a pretty easy thing to be moral, So pretty simple. I don't know if the word is easy. It's simple.
Right, exactly. Simple and easy are not necessarily the fellow
That's
walkers. Is there anything that I haven't covered or I haven't asked that maybe you want to talk about?
Well, one thing I want to do, and it's a couple years old, but I want to send you our annual report from 2023. And that will give you a really good overview of HAPI and the type of programs that we do. A lot of these are continuing on too. But so I'll send you that in a PDF.
Okay.
And let me think, is there anything other than I feel very fortunate to be attached with HAPI? They're some of the most selfless, hardworking, loving people I've ever met in my life. They're all about helping humanity and fellow Filipinos. they're really, really brilliant, wonderful people. And they accept me. And I mean, I'm like, if you look at the board of trustees, I'm the only white guy on the board of trustees. I was chairman of the organization. I'm the first and only white guy chairman. So it was, I feel like I have an extended family in the Philippines, and feel very fortunate to have that.
A few months ago, we were trying to do all the paperwork and stuff to see if we could get U.S. aid to help HAPI. And of course, you already know what's happened with U.S. aid. I mean, we don't know how this is going to end, but I don't know. I felt like I had to say that there. Any comments, or how can people
Yep.
support
But
HAPI? Or
we got qualified for USAID. They accepted our application, and we could start looking for programs. And then, like a month later, it went down with all, the election and everything else that happened. So, as early as December, we were ready to go. We had already qualified for USAID.
oh man. But I know that if people want to give, they can give on the HAPI webpage. There is a place there where you can support it and send funds to their PayPal account.
It is, and we have no paid membership, so everything that's submitted goes actually to help, the Filipino people,
Okay. All
which I
right.
think is important to know.
Okay, definitely. So we want to encourage people to look into that and consider giving. And hopefully in the years to come, they'll straighten out things with USAID. Although right now in this current, I know we don't want to talk about the Philippines politically, but hey, we're Americans. I figure I can talk about my own government. So
Absolutely, yeah. Well, there's the United Nations, there's UNICEF, and there's other organizations, Feed the Children, that we can try and make alliances with, that have money to. Well, I don't know if they got money now, but they had money to provide, the Gates Foundation, stuff like that. So we're
that's a
still
good
looking for
point.
large corporations, and I've looked at some Filipino ones, although the ones I looked at already have their organizations that they like to sponsor. And I'll get you that PDF. I'm really proud of it. I just wish we'll be doing more of those each year, but that's one that was really good, really well done, and gives a rich overview of what our organization is and what we do and how we dealt with COVID, things like that.
Yeah, I'd like to see, if I'm able to go next year, which I'm really planning on. I'd like to see if I can't time it to when you might be out there and these things might be happening.
That would be really cool. Then you can help us in you know, helping children, feeding
Yeah.
kids. I tell you what, Dwayne, it was really cool because every time I've been there and we've worked just on the food lines, the older kids make sure the younger kids are in line ahead of them. And each one of the kids, when you give them food, they look at you in the eye and they say, "Thank you, sir," or "Salamat po." But the kids are respectful. They did it. They knew I was coming, so they prepared a dance to show their appreciation. And the kids danced for me.
Wow.
I mean, it was just amazing. And there was no pushing or shoving or teasing or bullying. It was all, making sure that everybody had something to eat.
Oh, well, that's good. That's heartwarming to say the least. But yeah. All right. Well, thank you for talking with me this Saturday here.
You bet. And any questions you have or anything you follow up you want to talk about, just let me know.
All right, we'll do. Well, have a good rest of the day, and I will talk to you later.
All right. Thank you. I got to go by DHL in Tampa because my goddaughter Talia has taken up baton twirling. And my
Oh,
wife
wow.
was a next majorette, so we're mailing her a baton from America. So,
Okay. Are they able to come to the United States?
well, they can come to the United States, but well, I don't know now. But
Right,
before
right.
it was very difficult to come as a tourist. You had to be sure that make the American government make sure that you're going to go back. And so one way to do it is you had to have $10,000 in a Filipino bank account, or you had to own real estate, or you had to have a business. So, or you'd be on a religious, like a friend of mine came to a conference for the Methodist Church. No problem at all. It was a religious pilgrimage type thing to America.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess
Well,
now if you have $5 million, you can come over too.
oh God. Yeah, yeah. Or Mexico. Well, that's more of an alternative where I'm at since it's not that far, but um, make Mexico the in-between point, But yeah, I wish I could bring some people over here to the United States, but it's just not in the cards right now.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I don't have 10,000 bucks I can send somebody and say, put it in your bank account.
Yeah. So
I might someday, you never know, but
that's true.
we'll see.
Things
Let
could
me sell
change.
my family, let me sell the family farm and then maybe I'll have it.
Okay. All right. Well, I will talk to you later. Thanks for the interview.
It's good talking to you, Dwayne. See you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for watching, and of course, if you'd like to contribute to HAPI, visit their webpage, happyhumanist.org, and you can see their link in the description, and you can click it. And of course, if you'd like to see more interviews like this or more programs like this, then please click like and subscribe, and we will alert you whenever we have a new interview, program, short subject, music video, you name it. Thanks for watching.